And then it was over. With the archdemon dead, the Darkspawn horde quickly crumbled. Most fled back into the deep roads. They would remain a threat in the years to come, but the blight had been ended before it had truly begun. Ferelden had been saved, and the entire kingdom rose up to joyously greet its new king and queen. The Grey Wardens stood redeemed, and a new age had begun. But at what cost?
That's a good question. I've never been alive here before, so I don't know. I know nothing. But yeah, I've always been dead at this point, so I don't know.
My friends, we are gathered to celebrate those responsible for our victory. Of those who stood against the Darkspawn siege of Denerim, there is one in particular who deserves commendation. The one who led the final charge against the Archdemon remains with us still. An inspiration to all she saved that day. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the hero of Ferelden, the first Grey Warden to defeat the Blight since Garahel 4 centuries ago. My friend, it is hard to imagine how you could have aided Ferelden more. I think it only appropriate that I return the favor. Is there any boon that you might request of Ferelden's king? If it is within my power, I will grant it.
What might I request? But yeah, I've never been alive here, so I have no idea of any of these options. Oh. Nah, don't care. My sister having a son with King Thalen is already quite enough. I think that's... I don't think too much or too highly of those sort of people to begin with, so no, I don't think I require anything of a sword. Like, this is something that I would assume that he could agree with too. So yeah, makes somewhat sense too, but on the other hand, I wasn't, like, if I was the previous king in Orzammar, I'd say this would be more logical to say, as in that there would be some more help against the Darkspawn there, because yeah, it's not a really good situation over there now, is it? But I think what I would prefer the most, the sacrifices of the Wardens should not be forgotten again. Maybe something for Duncan's honor or something. He did sacrifice himself and did a lot after all. And that's us, all Wardens already sacrifice a lot by just drinking the blood of the Darkspawn, so I think that's the one that also Alistair could agree with. So the sacrifices of the Wardens should not be forgotten again.
Now that's a very good point. I think we can begin with a monument here in Denerim, dedicated to the Grey Wardens who have fallen. Duncan, Riordan, all of them. And it is high time some scholars were collected to learn more about the Darkspawn. We'll face them again, with the dwarves as well as here. Let it also be known that the Arling of Amaranthine, once the land of Arl Howe, is now granted to the Grey Wardens. There they can rebuild, following the example of those who went before them. What are your plans? Will you remain with the Grey Wardens?
I will remain with the Grey Wardens, yes. Sure, I don't actually think that he will necessarily need my help. But like I did say that I would help him, so that offer still stands, that if he needs my help I will be there, but I think he's still doing well too by himself. I think I will travel, at least for a time.
I don't suppose the Grey Wardens are really in a position to stop you, are they? And let me say, I hope your travels bring you back this way soon. Don't be a stranger. There's a group of Ferelden citizens waiting outside to get a look at their hero. I suggest you make at least a brief appearance before they storm the gate. Just tell the guard at the door when you're ready.
Thanks, I will. But it's strange to be alive. Okay, what's the Codex update? Morrigan, yeah, Morrigan is already gone, I'm sure. After the battle, Morrigan disappeared. Morrigan's critical eye is not reserved solely for others, knowing or not. She has a simple fondness for jewelry, but Morrigan disappeared is the important part. It's kind of silly to have the other stuff there, right below. But, yeah, I guess that's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. But yeah, at least it's pretty ambiguous in some sense to just simply say that, yeah, I shall travel. I don't know yet. I'm sure Grey Wardens need me too. I might travel and visit back to Orzammar. I might not. We'll see. I don't know yet.
So, we made it. I'm impressed, aren't you? The odds were completely against one of us actually getting to the Archdemon. But of course you would make it. I knew you would. I guess Morrigan was telling the truth after all. About the ritual. The rest of the Grey Wardens haven't arrived yet from Orlais. But they've already sent questions. What should I tell them?
That is indeed a great question. Well, they were not wrong. So, I guess we should tell them the truth, that there was a ritual, rather than... And that's incorrect, but that would be just lying, and anyone else in the future who would be in a similar situation would just, yeah. So, yeah, no. But telling them the truth will probably make them a little bit less like us, because who knows what will happen with this old god baby. So, yeah. But the truth seems like the best option.
That a Maleficar saved you and then ran off to have my demon baby? That has a certain ring to it, right? No, I suppose I'll just keep that to myself. I can shrug and look stupid. It's a talent. Speaking of Morrigan, do you know where she went? I'm told she vanished right after the battle. No goodbyes or anything.
She doesn't want to be followed. I don't know where she went.
I'm just concerned about what that ritual is going to cost eventually. At any rate, I can see Arleman giving me that look. More king stuff, I suppose. It can never wait. And if I don't get the chance some other time, thanks. For everything.
Thank you too. If you wouldn't have agreed to that ritual at the end, one of us would be dead. I don't know if that would be better or worse, but it's still the truth. This is hardly a goodbye though. We will meet again.
You're leaving, aren't you? And I'm not. I guess we'll see how things play out. But this certainly feels like an ending. At least for now. I'll let you get to your adoring public. They want to see the hero of Ferelden, and who am I to keep them waiting?
But it is true. Being a king does have its own responsibilities that you just can't invade, which maybe it is a wrong thing to put Alistair into the throne, or to the throne specifically. Like, I guess the most reasonable is if you can stay here too, or are romantically involved or something, and then we would stay too. But in this case, we are not in any way romantically involved, and I will just continue our adventures that we pretty much started together, and now I'll just leave him to govern the kingdoms and all that stuff. And he doesn't have the same freedoms as he used to have. So, yeah, that's how it is. So, Anora, how are you? I'll just talk one more time.
The crowd is waiting for you outside. We can speak more afterwards if you like.
Sure. But yeah, it's an interesting situation, nonetheless, for me to be here. Like I said, I've never been here, so it's very strange.
Allow me to offer you my personal congratulations, Warden. I must admit that while I did not share my father's pessimism regarding the Grey Wardens, I had my doubts that such a small number of you could be victorious. Yet here you are.
Well, not alone. Damn right, though. Here we are.
Normally, I would call that bravado, but it seems your confidence is deserved. Tell me something. Is Alistair always like that?
Like what? He's a good man, though.
But will he be a good king? I fear my initial suspicions are proving correct. He already avoids anything resembling a decision. Oh well. His heart is in the right place. In that, he reminds me of Kaelin, which is no failing. Now I see Arl Eamon gesturing to me. There is more work to be done. I must take my leave of you, I fear. Enjoy the rest of the celebration, Warden. I shall speak to you again before the day is done.
But yeah, definitely Alistair at least alone wouldn't make necessarily the best of kings, because he doesn't... He always left the decision on us too, like previously. At least in the current state, he wouldn't make the best of king. Maybe if I had made some different choices, he could make a better king and make decisions better himself, but he did leave the decision making more for us throughout this journey. So in that sense, he's not in the best of circumstances with it. But, well...
No need to hover, Warden. Enjoy your celebration. We can speak later.
Yes, we will. Hello, Shale. How are you doing?
How incredible that it survived. It has exceeded my expectations.
Normally I wouldn't. I'm not as squishy as you think.
Apparently not. Thankfully, it appears to be the exception when it comes to its kind. Otherwise, I might be forced to revise my opinion completely. But I will go now. I'm thinking I will return to Orzammar. Perhaps I will fight the Dark Spawn in the Deep Roads. Clear them out for good. They remind me of pigeons.
Oh, I'm kind of glad that they remind you of pigeons. It is as such the purpose that they were to begin even created, and it is kind of a home for him or her nonetheless. That might take a while.
It appears that time is a luxury I possess. The Blight may be over, but the Dark Spawn will just go underground once again. Perhaps I can do something to aid the dwarves. It is a worthy quest. Something worth existing for. Does that make sense?
Yes, certainly. Yes, it does. It makes the perfectly good sense.
Good. Perhaps I will see it again one day. I hope so. For a flesh creature, it has been excellent company.
Thank you, Shale. Of course we could stay with all of them too and all that, but that is up to them too, rather than just me, I'd say. Rika, you were actually here. I was wondering if it would be you in some sense. Hello, Rika.
A Grey Warden, and now a hero too? A bit different from the slums, huh?
Definitely. Aren't you married to a king? It's kind of different for you too.
Ha! I'm his concubine. But it's a comfortable position anyhow. I'll give you that. Mother swore off drinking when she heard about what you did. She's been sober ever since. And as ill as a fell cat in water. I should tell you, the Assembly actually sent me here. Officially, I'm an ambassador. Can you imagine? Me. Apparently, miracles abound these days. They want me to tell you that you're free to return to Orzammar. They've made you a full citizen. Technically, you're warrior caste.
Wow, that's definitely different. We're not a casteless anymore, and not just a warden. We're actually made full citizen and a warrior caste. In that sense, I guess it makes sense that they put you in the pretty high position too, because if they made me in the warrior caste, then you should kind of be sharing my position, I feel, at least to some degree. Well, at least in some ways you do, and after all, Valen is the leader, so he would be more able to do that sort of thing. So, can they really do that?
I don't know. But they did. Of course, that means Mother has risen up too. She's been lording it over all her friends, calling them lowly peasants. I hear they're considering making you a paragon. Statue and everything. Not bad, sister. Not bad at all. Anyhow, I intend to get back to sampling this human wine. I'd like to forget that there's a giant sky up there. How they live up here? I'll never know.
Well, eventually you would get used to it if you stayed here long enough. I've gotten more or less used to it, to the giant sky up ahead and up above. I don't know. We will definitely return to Orzammar, at least to some degree, but will we always stay in Orzammar? Probably not. We have now gotten into traveling quite a lot, and Orzammar wasn't the best of homes, but it's definitely a strange idea to become a paragon, even. But definitely quite something, I gotta say. But as such, castless is the least likely to become still a paragon, I'd say. Usually I would assume that they are something else than castless, but a paragon status is of course quite of a, well, different situation. I don't know if I'm the first dwarf to defeat the Blight and the Archdemon.
If they make you a paragon, that makes me a paragon's sister. What next? Mother on the assembly?
That would be definitely weird.
These people seem very excitable. One would think they'd be quieter and wanting to rest after that whole ordeal.
Yeah, maybe.
It is over. I can barely believe it. You stopped the Civil War and then defeated the Blight. On behalf of Ferelden, allow me to say thank you. It truly cannot be said enough.
Thank you, too. It was still a close call. We were lucky at the end of the day that managed to do it all.
Well, let's not tell the masses just yet. As far as they're concerned, you saved the day without breaking a sweat. Let them have that. It's too bad that you aren't remaining here in the capital. The hero of Ferelden would have influence, but I understand. Myself, I will be remaining here to help Alistair. Tegan will take over the rule of Redcliffe, at least for the time being. Connor seems well enough, and Isolde refuses to speak of what happened. She says she never wants to go back. I cannot thank you enough for saving them. They are the joy of my existence. Tell me, have you noticed anything strange about the lad? He seems quiet.
Lad? Well, consider what he's been through.
Ah, you are no doubt correct. It is my imagination, I am sure. But here I am rambling on. I shall let you get back to your celebration, Warden. Enjoy it while you can.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Warden. You are truly a hero.
Thank you. What about you, Liliana? You're dressed in a pretty dress now, too.
So here we are. The conquering heroine has won the day, and now she takes her bow and exits the stage. A fine ending.
Yeah, which I normally ever have, but it's definitely strange to be here. But this isn't a play, though.
Isn't it? We had danger, we had victory, and many characters. Truly, I could not have borne witness to a better play had it been on a stage.
Makes
You know,
sense?
I can't help now but think of my vision. The Maker sent me to help you, and look what you did. It's a miracle. It truly is. I've been asked by the Chantry to return to the Urn of Sacred Ashes. I need to make sure it's protected. Maybe pilgrims can even begin going there again.
I guess that makes sense for you. Congratulations, sounds like fun. Sounds like something you would enjoy doing.
I expect to leave a month from now with a small army of Templars and priests. It will be a grand adventure of my very own. I'm looking forward to it. At any rate, you should get back to the celebration. We can speak another time.
Have fun.
If I write a tale about all this, I'm leaving out details on the food. They don't even make good food here in the palace.
Alright. Hello, Sevron. What's you gonna be planning to do next?
I will be relieved when all this pomp and ceremony is done. Such events are perfect opportunities for assassins, after all. I can't help but expect the crows to appear at any moment, which would be a welcome break, mind you.
Yeah, this is a little bit different than we're used to, I'd say. You think the crows will still come after you?
Eventually. With Taliesin dead, it may take them time to figure out what has happened. But they are like the tides, predictable. You know, it does occur to me that staying in one place is only going to invite the crows to find me that much quicker. While fun, that might eventually get complicated. You said earlier that you are planning on leaving soon. Is that true?
Yeah, probably. Why? You want to come along? That kind of makes sense if he's talking about traveling and I'm talking about traveling. And Alistair sadly can't come with us.
You tend to get up to interesting things. You meet interesting people and then you kill them. I'm game to tag along if you are.
I guess I could be asking everyone, but at least like everyone else already pointed out what they would want to do, so it doesn't really seem logical when we don't have to have them along to be asking that, hey Liliana, leave that, don't go there, come along with me instead. Well, we are both assassins. I learned the assassin trait from him, so I guess it's logical enough, so I'm happy for the company if you happen to be wanting to travel the same way.
And I promise not to get you into too much trouble. Well, no more than you get me into, anyhow. Well then, since we're going to be leaving together, we can speak after you have been sufficiently paraded in front of the populace. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on you and make sure no one gets a clear shot. Not without paying me a great deal of coin, anyhow.
Good to know. Thanks.
Does the Ferelden monarchy make much use of assassins? I wonder if this is a good time to ask.
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say. Hello, Vun.
The hero of Ferelden. My. How does it feel?
It's a little strange, definitely.
Of that I have no doubt. It's a title you'll be wearing for a long time to come, just as Loghain wore his. But it's not so bad, is it? A blight defeated with the other nations barely becoming aware. Who could ask for better?
True. Well, I didn't do it on my own, obviously. You were there and everyone else.
I don't think many heroes ever do. I'm glad not to be on the receiving end of all this attention myself. I say, let the young have their fame. Not that I've gone without notice. Irving asked me to take over as first enchanter, but I don't wish to go back. Not after all this. Instead, I've decided to accept a position here at court. There's not been a mage advising the throne for a very long time.
To be honest, I think that's a smart thing. Alistair needs some advisement. I definitely think that's a wise thing to do. And yeah, I would agree, I wouldn't want to go back to the Circle of Magi after all that you've gone through. But no, I will not be asking her then to stay instead with me when she again has a proper plan. Alistair asked you to stay?
He's a good lad, and his heart is in the right place. He wants to see the lot of mages improved, and I am willing to help him. I understand you will be leaving. I wish you good fortune on your journeys, wherever they may take you. If we do not see each other again, live well, Warden. And thank you.
Thank you too. And I don't know where I shall go. I shall return here too. After all, Alistair is a good friend, and will always be.
All this talk is tiring. I think it is time for me to sample some of that lovely cider I smelled earlier. Now, where did it go?
Good question. Very good question. Hello, Okren.
Humans have a better taste for spirits than I thought. The ale up here is actually good. Orzammar ale tastes like dirt in comparison. Probably because they put dirt in it. Go figure.
Go figure indeed. Enjoying yourself already, I see.
After what we went through, I think I've earned it. I think you've earned it. So I guess you're heading off soon, huh? Leaving the city?
Why? What are you doing?
I'm thinking I'll stick around myself, at least for a bit. I got offered a spot in the human army, and not as a mascot either. You know, these humans aren't bad for all their long legs.
Well, if you enjoy it more, you did enjoy the open sky at the end of the day. So you've done adventuring then, eh?
Maybe, for a bit. Talk to me in a year or so when I'm bored, and maybe I'll think differently. Ah, well, enough babbling. That pot-bellied son of a whore Tegan said I'd pass out before drinking an entire barrel of pickle juice. I aim to prove him wrong.
Sure. Have fun. Don't ever change, Okran. You're special in your own way.
Who, me? It's been good traveling with you, Warden. Don't get lost in the shuffle now.
Try my best.
Pickle juice.
Have fun with that pickle juice. So, what about you, Stan?
It is good to see you again, Kadan. These people, they call you hero. It is a strange word, but I think I understand its meaning. The Arishok on occasion has declared a Kunari to be Kunoran Vel, one who serves as an example to others. Such examples are always made after their death, however, a death in service to the Kyun. A living Kunoran Vel would be too proud.
I can understand. Do the Kunari celebrate and put on parades?
When a Kunoran Vale is declared, certainly. It is one of few occasions when the Kunari are permitted to engage in revelry. There is imbibing of spirits, public chanting, meditations abandoned. It is madness.
That would be quite a sight.
It is interesting. It can take days for the Ben Hasrath to restore order. There may even be executions. I suppose I should tell you. I have decided to return to my people. Your quest is done, and thus so is my reason for accompanying you.
Yeah, that was kind of what we agreed upon. It is an interesting idea to go with him. It would be interesting to see a very different sort of area. But I guess I'll make a choice, and I was just starting to get used to you.
And I to you, strangely enough. It must be said. You found my sword and gave me a chance to restore my honor. I owe you a great debt.
You helped me as well. It's been good.
It has. That one of the Baz, a foreigner, would become known as Kadan to me. Unthinkable. Yet here it is. Perhaps I shall see you again one day. Until then, may you always find the path you seek. Farewell, Kadan.
Farewell, Kadan.
Where is the cake? I was told there would be cake. The cake is a lie.
The cake is a lie. That's so sad. Ben ain't here, though. There's another dog, but this isn't Ben. Can't talk to him. Well, I guess I will only travel with Zevran, but everyone else has a good plan what they want to do, so, you know.
Are you ready, my lady? The crowds outside are getting restless.
And I will be, at least sometimes, with Shale, I'd say. Restless. What am I supposed to do exactly?
Just put in an appearance, so I understand it. The people just want to see their hero in person. I'm supposed to take you to your escort, full brigade, their armor all shined up and everything. They're really honored to be guarding you, let me tell you.
Okay, well, I guess I can't be any more ready, so let's go then.
Right. I'll take you there now. Follow me.
In the months that followed their wedding, Alistair and Anora fell into the routine of ruling Ferelden. Anora was a skilled governor, adept at matters of court, and more than willing to spend her time judging matters of law from the throne. And Alistair was quite happy to let her do so. He traveled frequently, making personal appearances that delighted commerce to no end. News that the urn of sacred ashes had been found in Ferelden did not spread outside the Chantry until Brother Genitivi made an announcement several months after the defeat of the Darkspawn. The manuscript detailing his research and his experience with Andraste's cult drew huge interest among scholars throughout Tidus. Some years later, the Chantry announced that the resting place of Andraste's ashes had indeed been found. A ripple of excitement spread among the pious people of Tidus, with many undertaking pilgrimages to see the ashes or partake of their healing powers. Following months of effort, the Tower of the Circle of Magi was finally cleansed of the last spirits to slip through the veil. No further abominations were created, and First Enchanter Irving was pleased to declare the circle safe. All that could be saved had been. With the slaver shut down in the alienage, the lot of the city-born elves improved for a time. The new king even named the local elder to his personal court. A scandal amongst the humans, but a sign of new hope to the elves. Shiani continued to be an outspoken member of the alienage community, and in the time became the new elder. That outspokenness earned her frequent trouble, but served her people well. Arl Eamon remained in Denerim for some time, acting as the Chancellor and Chief Advisor to King Alistair. Tegan ruled over Redcliffe in his stead, and was surprised to find himself well loved by the villagers, who were still grateful for the nights he spent defending their lives. In time, Eamon abdicated in favor of his brother, an event that locals greeted with approval and enthusiasm. The Daily Elves prospered after the siege at Denerim, having earned much respect for their part in the battle. For once, humans' lands welcomed the wandering folk. The new keeper, Lanaya, was respected both amongst the Dailies as well as in the Ferelden court. She was a voice of reason, and other Dailies clans would turn to her to help resolve disputes with human folk. In time, many of the Dailies clans moved to the new land provided for them in the south near Ostagar. Wary of their human neighbors, however, tensions soon rose again, and only Keeper Lanaya's leadership kept peace alive. At least, she is a leader, so she is able to do that. In Orzammar, King Phelan quickly proved himself a reformer. Trade with the surface lands increased, and caste restrictions were loosened. The casteless were permitted to take arms against the Darkspawn in exchange for new freedoms. For the first time in generations, the line in the deep roads was pushed back, and a few tykes were reclaimed. Phelan's reform quickly found him enemies within the warrior and noble castes, however, and after several assassination attempts, the assembly was dissolved. The king then ruled alone. Some said as a tyrant, others said as a visionary determined to drag Orzammar into the modern world. But yeah, I can understand that. It's kind of a bad and kind of a good thing, because, like, at least there's a lot of reforms and making the world Orzammar a different place, and actually fighting back the Darkspawn better than ever before, so... The assembly unanimously declared Ruska a living paragon. Following the months of deliberation, a new statue was erected in the Commons and a new house founded in the paragon's name, quickly drawing a great number of followers from every caste. My own house, very strange. The dwarven mage, Dagna, ultimately completed her studies at the rebuilt Circle Tower on the surface. Eventually, she published a comprehensive theory of how lyrium vapors relate to the supply of magic. It gained a great deal of attention. This inspired mages from other parts of Tidus to establish a new Circle of Magi in Orzammar itself, one that had ready access to dwarven lyrium, and lies outside Chantry's power completely. The willingness of Orzammar to harbor apostates sparkled outrage that began whispered that the Divine was contemplating a new exalted march. That's interesting, definitely interesting. I wouldn't have expected there to be a Circle of Magi in Orzammar, but interesting. Although the Anvil of the Void was destroyed, rumors about its location crept into Orzammar. Years later, thanks to the defeat of the Darkspawn on the surface, a few determined smiths managed to locate the Anvil's remains. They examined the ruins of the animal and, upon returning to Orzammar with their findings, convinced the shepherd to attempt to recreate Caridin's research. A new golem was created, bound with the spirit taken from the Fate. That's, well, I guess new golem was created bound with the spirit taken from the Fate. That might be a little bit better, if it's not just a dwarf that was just made into a golem. Would be different. The golem immediately went insane, killing several shapers before it was destroyed. Okay, not good. And the research was branded excessively dangerous and sealed away. Whispers of its existence circulated throughout Orzammar, however, and demand among the Smith's cast to reopen Caridin's research refused to abate. Guess I can understand that. As good as her word, Morrigan disappeared once the archdemon was slain. Someone of Morrigan's description was seen traveling alone months later, heading west through the Frostback Mountains. And she may even have been with child. Both Ruska and the companions who helped defeat the Blight eventually scattered to the four winds, drawn either by personal duty or the call for future adventure. Circumstance dictated that they would not see each other again, at least for a time. As the blighted lands began to heal and the Grey Wardens slowly rebuilt the order in Amarantine, they discovered that the fight against the Darkspawn was not yet complete. Although the Horde was routed and had dissolved upon the Archdemon's death, many of the more powerful Darkspawn survived to organize roving war bands that preyed both upon the land and upon each other. Interesting. These war bands spread havoc, and some even journeyed west into Orlais or crossed the Shining Sea by the deep roads. They proved incredibly difficult to wipe out. Interesting for sure. But these are tales yet to be told. This tale ended when Ruska sank her blade in the Archdemon's head and destroyed it forever. It was not the last that Ferelden would hear of her, however. Indeed. And there we are. The main game has been completed. I think as it should be, I should go for the Darkspawn Chronicles next. As I understand, it's a logical one to go and do next, and then the Dragon Age Awakening, then we'll see which ones I'll do in which orders afterwards. But we will start the next campaign next time around. So, I hope you guys enjoyed some more of the Dragon Age Origins. And I'll see you for more then next time, where we shall continue with all of this stuff. So, thank you for watching. See you then. Bye bye. To be continued with Kidarusha next time in Dragon Age.